Hi, guys. This is kbunschoten, the president and founder of Certum Solutions, an accounting and technology company in North Carolina. And I wanted to come to you today with a video. It's a little off the cuff. I don't have a script or anything like that, but I wanted to answer some of the events that happened late last week with Silicon Valley Bank. Before I get started, if you like this video, make sure you like the video. If you like our kind of content here with Certum and you want to see more of my opinions, buyer beware or watcher beware, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. But in any case, let me jump into it. So this all really starts with something called the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. It's a quasi-governmental corporation that was started in 1934 as an answer to the stock market crash when you had all the runs on the banks, in the early 1900s. So this organization has been around for almost 100 years. That's great for us because what happened last week was, and it's not something that's unique, Washington Mutual failed in 2008. And why do I remember? Because I'm going to Washington Mutual, but you know what? My experience was very straightforward and people took care of it and we were okay. And people are going to be okay this time too. Okay. So the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation basically insures a depositor's funds with any singular bank up to $250,000 when they're in certain categories, those categories being cash, savings, money market, and CD. It's speculative accounts like an investment account, things like that are typically not covered. But at the same time, those are speculative, right? So that's you get what you get. How does this all go down? So 89% or roughly 89%, and I'm bringing these numbers off my head, so if I get one a little bit wrong, apologize. Around 89% of the deposits on file with Silicon Valley Bank were way above $250,000. We had payroll companies that used this bank. We had other companies that use this bank. I think I watch or I research a website. It's called Seeking Alpha. So there's your plug, Seeking Alpha. Seeking Alpha back in December noticed some things. One of their analysts noticed some things. Other than that, I haven't heard of anybody really talking about this situation until last week when the bank did become insolvent and then they stated publicly they were looking for a capital raise of something like $2.45 billion. Obviously, that scared some of their customers, and you had what is known as a run on the bank. Now, it was it wasn't like everybody ran to the bank like in the old days to try to pull their money, but you had a lot of money movement that then exacerbated the situation. And the FDIC is actually here to keep things like that from happening and to provide comfort to the depositors to make sure that we all know that as clients of these banks that we are safe, or at least safer than we would be without them. So as long as your funds in that bank are up to $250,000, you should be fine. Above that, the government has come out. You know how this goes. There's going to be a lot of talking and things like that and getting my popcorn to see what really happens. But they're talking about insuring above the $250,000 in order to keep things from getting worse. They are going out of their way to make sure this is not a bailout like in 2008, because if y'all were here in 2008, it created all kinds of political chaos. People were very angry. The taxpayer funds were used to bail out this bank. This time they're saying it's done in a private way that won't take taxpayer money. Again, let's wait and see. To me, I'm going, if you insure a certain amount of a bank and you are basically the bank's bank, and you're their insurance company and you're taking a certain amount of assets in order to insure those banks. Basically, if you are covering above the amount that you're supposed to cover, you haven't been paying in at that rate. So I'm interested to know how this is all going to come out in the wash, because as an accountant, I'm kind of like, it's kind of like getting something for nothing. But at the same time, I also understand how people's money needs to be safe and we need to have a strong economy, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on that's over my head. I like economics. I'm not an expert or a PhD at economics. It's a subject that's really interesting to me. So I stuff like this gets me out of bed in the morning. I think is super interesting. But all that being said, I do feel confident that there are important people here that are making sure that everything's going to be fine. You've heard whisperings of it affecting other banks. I know another one, something Signature Bank or something, was affected as well recently Will this affect further banks? I don't know. What I will say that as the president of my organization, I pay particular attention to the banks I bank with. I try to make sure they're strong banks. You can usually pull filings on their financial statements if you want to go that extra step from the SEC if they're public, or if they are not public, if you look under the investor page, sometimes private banks will have that kind of information out there, or ask your banker, maybe they'll share. That information should be there. Another interesting thing about this whole situation is people that bank with credit unions. Is your money insured by FDIC? No, it is not. We've had that question. No, it's not. However, there is a similar organization that works to ensure the credit unions. It's a completely different organization, but their funds are insured in a different way. So if you do bank with a credit union, take the time to go research how your money is insured. If you bank substantially over $250,000, most likely you're fine, but I will say that personally, I do bank with several banks, and we will be doing some research to make sure that we keep an appropriate amount on file with each bank to ensure that we are covered. I'm very interested to see if the limit for insurance is raised overall as a result. And a lot of this is just wait and see, read the news and everything. You're seeing economic policy in action right now, which I think is really fascinating. If you have any questions or you want to, talk shop, whatever, leave me a comment or send me an email. I love hearing from people, and I would love to hear your thoughts. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? And I believe I said this at the beginning of the video, but just so you know, these are my personal thoughts. This is some education, some entertainment, and this is literally very much off the cuff. So before you make any big moves, always check with your advisors, because this is not financial advice for you. Okay, I'm just speaking to my experience. In any case, I hope everyone has a wonderful week, and keep watching. It's super interesting, if nothing else, and I look forward to talking to you again. Thanks. Bye.